and I were meant to be out here. In the darkness. In the fight. Fire! That's who we are born to be.
Hey guys, Pete here. I just watched the Expanse panel at New York City Comic Con 2021 and thought I'd do a quick video to let you know what they said about the final season. They also dropped a new trailer. It was a very final season sort of don't give much away kind of teaser. There was no mention if there will be something more substantial to follow, but either way I'll come back and do a full breakdown of that after I've had some time to look at it more closely. So it is confirmed that season 6 will be 6 episodes. They're going to be airing them weekly. It's going to start on December 10th. The first episode will come out then, and then each one will follow weekly until they get to the finale. Just one episode a week, no mini binge at the beginning, so we have exactly 6 more weeks of The Expanse. They did say that the final episode will be 65 minutes long, and they said that was something that they always wanted to do, was end big. The panel was like the other ones you've seen. Dominique Tipper did the hosting, and then there were several cast members, and then the writers and the showrunner. So we had Strait, who plays Holden, Wes Chatham, who plays Amos, Shoreh, who plays Avasarala, Nadine Nicole, who plays Clarissa, and Cara Gee, who plays Drummer. And then we had Naren Shankar, the showrunner, Franck, and Daniel Abraham, the 2 authors of the novels who produce and write for the show. I thought it was interesting when they were talking about going with 6 episodes. No one said that this was the idea that they had in mind or this was something that they wanted to do because they thought the story called for it. They put an emphasis on how it was much shorter than what they're used to, and Naren even said that it was difficult, but it gives it intensity. And it really sets up for an ending that's cathartic. Ty said they had to stand on the gas pedal all the way. But then Daniel jumped in to say that he didn't think they lost anything. And he pointed out some of the things that we've been talking about, how they pulled things forward to season 5. And overall, they sounded confident that they pulled it off. As far as what the cast had to say, they all felt like it was surreal that they were coming to the end of their journey. Bobbie couldn't be there because she was filming something else. They mentioned losing Alex and how that changes things, but didn't give any more details about how the crew would be filled out. Instead, each of them kind of focused on where their character's at in the beginning. It sounds like things are pretty rough. Strait said that morale is really low, the war is dragging on, and there's a sense that they haven't gotten anywhere. It's wearing on Holden and the rest of the crew. Naomi's angry about the part that she played in Alex's death. That's hanging over all of them. No one seems to be happy that Clarissa is there except for Amos. And they're flying around fighting with and killing Belters, and as you can imagine, that's hard for Naomi. Wes Chatham brought up the fact that Amos used to use these other people as his moral compass, and now he finds Clarissa doing the same thing with him. He's starting to make his own choices and not necessarily questioning Holden, but wanting to understand things on a deeper level. It sounds like there's a real sense of why do we have to be in the middle of all this. Nadine said that Clarissa's just trying to keep her head down and trying to prove her worth to these people who she tried to kill. They did hint that we'll see a lot of the aftermath of the rocks falling on Earth, and they phrased it in the way that Earth gets literally obliterated. The ecosystem's breaking down, there's so many deaths, and there's so many other problems related to that, and it's all on Avasarala's shoulders. She's lost her husband, and there seems to be a constant stress that it's still not over, and they don't know what to expect. Shoreh did say that Bobbie and Avasarala get to reunite. She said they have a real connection. She sees herself in Bobbie, and she can see the qualities in her that other people can't. And then the cast interviews ended with Drummer, and they talked about how she's just basically floating around with what's left of her family. She's backed into a corner with nowhere to go, and everything's pretty hopeless for her at the beginning. She doesn't really like Earth. She wants independence for the belt, but she doesn't like the Free Navy either, and she can't get on board with Marco. The idea of the Protomolecule was brought up, and one of the more exciting things that they confirmed was that they will be doing an adaptation of Strange Dogs in the season. They said that would include showing more of Laconia and an idea of what the future will look like later on in the story. Of course, they didn't make any announcements of future adaptations of books 7, 8, and 9, so at least at this point, it's just what the future will look like, but we may never actually see that. I think they tried to address the idea of not being able to wrap that whole story up. They reinforced the idea that that's what the later books are about. They said that thing is still there though, how humans keep encountering the protomolecule and keep trying to make it into what they want. And Daniel said Ty describes it as the rock against which people break themselves. So its presence will be felt, but there will be lingering mysteries at the end. So not a whole lot of surprises there. If you're familiar with the 6th book, then you can probably map out what's going to happen. It is exciting, and you see a bit of it in the trailer that there's some Laconia and some strange dogs. It sounds like it's going to be intense. It sounds like it's going to be really streamlined. I hope that works well. We've seen them do that before. 6 episodes is kind of a disappointment, but I have faith that they'll give us something good. I made a whole video about how that might work, so you can check that out. And the last thing they mentioned is that there's going to be short 5 to 6 minute segments that they're going to be putting out in between episodes. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that, like additional materials in between. And those were my big takeaways, and I think that's a good place to leave things. Like I said, I'll be back with a trailer breakdown soon. And in the meantime, I'm curious to hear what you think about the news in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. We've got just about 2 months until the first episode drops. So what are you hoping to see? And they did change the release date for book 9. Leviathan Falls is going to be coming out on November 30th rather than November 16th. So we're going to get the end of the books, and then we're going to get the end of the TV series in pretty close succession. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.